for the session as well. So guys, we've just launched the live trading, as you can see. My name is Trevor. This is Troy next to me. We're the founders of Trade On Point and MetaTrader Indicators. So, what's the exciting news, Troy?
Well, personally, I'm not sure they can see us.
Oh, well, we're somewhere over there. There we are.
There we go. Look at that. Yeah, Trade up on the screen there. The exciting thing about Trade On Point, everything really. I know we're excited about it. We're a little bit different to most other trading rooms. We're going to be actually teaching you how to trade, teaching you why things behave the way that they do, particularly market profile, volume trading, that sort of thing. Teaching you the jargon, teaching you all the grassroots stuff, and our plan, I guess, in Trade On Point is to have people that don't need us anymore.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the idea was always to, when we first spoke about this, the idea was to always come up with a trading room where we don't want to just show people, we don't want people to just copy our trades, because then we want to trade other people's money, trade our own money, and not actually
done that before. There's no reason to be trading other people's money anymore. If you wanted to do that, you would have stayed doing what you were doing.
Exactly. The idea was to come up with something that's fun, that's exciting, to teach people how to trade, to show them what moves the markets, because there's no point in giving a secret strategy, because there's no holy grail.
No, that's exactly right.
I think especially the way we trade, I mean, we are one of these very few that we can say we are scalpers by nature. Not to say that we don't swing trade and do other stuff, but we trade off 1 minute chart. I mean, how many people could say that they trade off a 1 minute chart?
Well, how many people can say they're about 85 to 90% profitable when they trade off?
Yeah,
but we're technical traders as well. Because, as you know from your recent experience of going with a gut feeling, it doesn't always work out that well.
No.
So we trade the maths.
Yeah.
The indicators show us exactly where the market's going, and they have not failed as long as you know how to read them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I find. Like guys, we just do a launch. We don't normally drink when we trade, but having said that, we've been buggering around with the website tonight, and we've caught about 3 or 4 trades, and they've all been profitable, which is quite good. But the idea behind it is indicators. We won't go too much into the education. I want to show you a few things, but the indicators, they all work. That's the nice thing about indicators. I built a website. We have 2,500 pages. Troy is my partner and co-founder of Trade On Point. But the website, MetaTraderIndicators.com, has 2,500 indicators. They all work, and it's kind of knowing that combination.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, with 2,500 indicators, if you're running 3 or 4 indicators together, there's potential for millions, possibly even billions of combinations. So you need to know the right ones to use, but more importantly, why. And there you go. That retracement you were telling me about before has just happened.
There's going to be a trade, yeah. Sorry, I have to.
But that's just dropped out of that new task box.
It has, and it's funny. Like we'll watch this trade, and we'll get on if it breaks above this high. So guys, just without getting, as I said, too much into education, what you're looking at here is I trade with AMP Global, and then I have Interactive Brokers, and Interactive Brokers I have to feed into NinjaTrader. So on the left-hand side of my screen here, this is MetaTrader 5. On the right-hand side of my screen here, this is NinjaTrader, and we trade in the Dow Jones June contract 2021. 1 minute chart on both, and then I have a 5 minute chart on some other screens. I have 5 screens and one behind me as well. So just so I don't distract myself and I'm watching it, I'll just take my chart trader off that way. So getting back, Trade On Point essentially, if I bring up the website, it's a live trading, but it's a live educational channel. The idea behind it is we want you to learn, we want you to grow with our studies,
and we want you to ask questions.
Yeah,
because that's one of the main ways in which you learn. I mean, I know myself. I could read 50 textbooks and not learn a single thing in any of them.
No.
Certainly not have any understanding of how they practically work in the real world. But if you're actually watching someone trade and you're talking to that person as they're trading, I mean, that's how you really learn. That's how you absorb it. That's how you know, get all that information and it makes sense to you in the real world. And so, yeah, we don't just want you to see us trading and hear us talking. As dulcet as your tones are, Trevor, I'm sure they're probably more inclined to put someone to sleep than.
Yeah, I think you've got to listen to me for a while before you can even understand me. Even I don't understand myself sometimes. So basically, I'll just take you quickly through the website. We've got the that's myself. Basically, I've been trading for some 20 years. I've worked for one of the major banks. I worked on a futures desk as a risk analyst, both with retail and institutional traders. What we're going to do is Monday to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so 4 days a week, we are going to be trading the European Open. And the idea behind it is everybody trades the New York Open, right? And
Everyone's
great time to trade.
About the US markets.
Like you have a lot of traders in Asia, you have a lot of traders in Europe, and there's not a lot of people. I don't think there's another dedicated live trading room just to the European Open. Even though we trade, and I'll get into that in a moment. We trade different pairs, but ideally, you got futures trading. We'll give you access to obviously the live trading each week. The idea is to teach you about risk management, and that's important. Obviously,
That's yourself when to get into a trade. It's about knowing when to get out of it.
How to get out of it, especially a losing trade. And
we're setting up the crying room for that.
We are setting up the crying room. I will be there from time to time. When I go from there, that's a great trade to hope the trade goes well.
I had to set a stop loss at break even.
Yeah, and then it's a hope and pray trade. You're just praying that the trade works on your favor, and ultimately you end up in the crying room. And
it happens. Even what is it, 85 to 90% success rate? There's still 1 in 10 trades are going to break your heart.
There's something that will happen, but so the idea is we're going to teach about risk management. We'll give you access to all the tools that we use. Now, some of the tools we pay for. If you want to, buy them, we're not affiliates with all those tools, but you can obviously watch us trade our trade. Size does matter. That's important because a lot of people don't have 10, 20, 30, $50,000 to go and throw in a trading account. So what do you think of the micro futures?
Well, it's fantastic that this is something that can happen now. I mean, you don't have to go back very far in time. This micro futures thing it's just not something that's possible in the market. Micro futures are moving now to the European markets, whereas their availability was minimal.
That's right. And in fact, like the micro futures came out for the US indices, mainly the ES, S&P 500 futures. Really
CME.
Yeah, what it did, and then basically Eurex is now followed. So Eurex, although it's not really tradable at the moment because of volume, but they've actually brought out the micro DAX, which we want to get into, which is even less than this contract here. In fact, the ticker I've got to change it. That's actually the tick value for the micro DAX.
Because minis were effectively this new thing that people could get into, and you didn't have to be an institutional trader anymore, but you still needed to have tens of thousands of dollars to be able to trade minis.
Yeah.
Now with the micros, you really can trade it on a reasonable account.
Forex, everybody trades Forex.
Trillions of dollars go through Forex
every day,
regularly.
So because we focusing on European session, we're going to be trading the pound futures. We'll trade.
I know you like the futures for the indices.
I do.
They very much like.
I will be trading Forex at some point. So guys, ideally, we want to be a trading room that you can trust. We want to give you some education, teach you how to trade, and we don't want you to, I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made going through, trying to learn how to trade, trying to learn Elliott wave and game theory, and I'm now a multiple profile trader.
And you've got there from trial and error a lot of the time. Yeah,
exactly, and tens of thousands of dollars, like on courses and everything else. That probably 90% of those courses, I should be getting my money back, because now that I know how to trade, and we've taken over 100 trades. We are win to loss ratio over 90%. That's obviously not indicative of what we're going to be like in the future. We might turn into 10% winners, but
I mean, you taught me how to trade.
Yeah,
and I from the very beginning, because I was able to learn from you. I've been above 50% right from the very beginning, right from the start, and that obviously gets better over time. And like we said right at the beginning, our main goal is to make people not need us anymore.
Yeah.
But there's other aspects to it as well. I mean, we're not just going to be sitting in front of a chart the entire time that you're talking to people during these trading rooms. There's the news event. You can show them the various different places that you can find information that will be of assistance to you. We're not generally, we trade technical.
Yeah.
We don't generally buy news events and those sorts of things, but we will show you how you can do that.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have to trade like us.
No.
When you learn, we'll teach you all of the aspects of trading, and you might decide that you're going to be a fundamental trader. And that's great. There's plenty of people out there. There's some of the best traders in the industry are fundamental traders. In fact, when you get right to the top, it is fundamental trading.
All your institutions, I mean, they, while they always look at technicals, I mean, unless you scalp in the markets and just trading your market, you are looking at, what is Tesla going to be, what numbers are coming out, what's non-farm payroll going to be doing, and ultimately you go and Tesla's going to do is going to be Elon Musk, tweeting about. I tell you what, it's been a bit.
Right.
Tell you what, the cryptocurrency market
we will try to avoid crypto as much as we can. Not because you can't make a huge amount of money in crypto, you certainly can, but the problem is you can also
lose a lot of money. I mean, well, that's exactly it. A mate of mine just rolled a $40 million account. My crypto is still sitting in an exchange. I can't get hold of that. That's the story for another day. Otherwise, I'll be in the crime room. So looking at the chart now, so just to give you a rundown, like I said at the beginning, indicators that all work. That's the great thing about them. However, when you look at, and I'll just quickly change this. So I'll take you through some of the indicators that I absolutely love. I'll just put a fixed maximum on that. 10 should do it. There we go. Okay. So what I look at from a trading perspective is I am an Ichimoku cloud trader, or Ichimoku cloud, and I apologize if I've said it wrong. Depending on the day, I say it one way or another. But if price action is above the cloud, it's a bullish market. If price action is below the cloud, it's a bearish market. Now, bearing in mind, I'm trading a 1 minute chart, so these are very short time frames.
Bullish market going up, bearish market
exactly.
Going down.
So
we need to be very aware that we're going to be trying to target an audience that may not know anything.
Exactly, and the idea behind it is that the bull has the horns, the bull comes in and then throws things up, and the bear tears things down.
That's exactly,
and pretty much obviously things go down a lot quicker than they go up. So
that's why you're a bearish trader. I am a bullish trader.
I prefer to be, especially at this time. I think that personally, I think that the markets are in for a recovery, so I prefer to take short trades, but that might change in the future.
When you say short trades, that's effectively you're going to be profitable if the market goes down on a short trade, as opposed to a long trade where
the market goes up and they end up.
So effectively, long trades, it's as if you're buying into it. Short trades, it's as if you're selling it off.
Correct. So you can make money as long as you've got a sell and a buy. So a sell has got a net off a buy, so it's basically a zero trade. You got one buy and a sell, and there's zero.
And that's when you talk about the liquidity. Because if you're selling something, someone else has to be buying it.
They have to be buying it.
Why if there's not a buyer out there, then and that's how markets move.
Yeah.
It's because there might not be a buyer at that price, and so you have to settle at a higher price, and then the market.
And that's exactly like we're talking about the DAX micro futures. That's a problem at the moment. It's just not enough liquidity. So, you know, the spread's already wide, but we'll talk about spreads. But getting on,
It is a big part of
it's
market profile trading is volume, and volume is liquidity.
you need that. You need the volume because the whole market profile derives itself from volume. Without that, it's going to be giving you false signals. Other indicators that I like on the chart is these arrows. That's just an indicator that I programmed. It's based off the Watto chart. I've been trading the Watto chart for 15 years now.
You're really excited about it about 3 or 4
No, maybe about
years
10
ago.
years. Yeah,
It's 3 or 4 years ago was basically everything you did.
everything I did. I've always had the Watto on my chart. I always thought I'm going to find something where this indicator will be useful, and I have found it. And in fact, friends of mine that traded with me or were working with me at the time, that's where we started. We started on the Watto. Then the other thing I have, and this is just another version of the Watto. I've coded it on NinjaTrader. So we do a bit of coding here. And then my second favorite, my other favorite indicator is the TAS boxes. And you know how
It just works so well with the Watto. It's like TAS boxes. If there's a breakout, it's 70% effective. But if you can read it with the Watto,
if you look at, I'll put this 5-minute chart up here, which we use as a bit of an anchor chart to the market trying to retest that high. And I think we're out. But if you look at this here, and I'll just put my crosshair on. So you've got the TAS boxes here. You've got a break of the TAS boxes. What is far above the feeder line, right? And here we're not below -200. So the market falls off this TAS box over here. We get this base forming over here, and you can see over here and this is the Woody CCI. All I use it for is to get out. The Woody CCI hits -200. I'm out the trade. Another TAS box forms, the market moves down. Another TAS box forms, the market moves down. And you get 3 TAS boxes in a row, and it's perfect. Like,
because as soon as it's breaking the bottom of the third TAS box, even if you didn't have the break the 200 in the Woody,
yeah,
you would be out on the third TAS box.
Correct.
Goes through the
always. And I'll just bring this water down a bit. It's actually triggered. Obviously, yeah, the third one you don't take anything after that.
Well,
I generally don't like taking some. I take the first 1 and 2. I don't really like taking the third one. Then you have another water forming, another TAS box forming over here. And in fact, if I just skip, I'll just to clean up the chart, because I know it's going to be a little bit. We'll just do this. That makes it a little bit easier for you to see. So you got the break below the Ishimori cloud. You got the break below the TAS box. Perfect entry. I mean, that's like the low-hanging fruit there.
But I mean, even with your perfect entry, you can see that it rallies a little bit before it dips away.
It does rally, and it retests that low value area there.
It retests your patience as well,
and that's where you've got to know where your stop.
You've got to trust the signals.
Yeah, your stop has got to be. Now, I wouldn't put a stop. My stop would generally be if you take the point of control to where, depending on which direction I go. So, point of control would be this blue line over here, and I'll get into that in the other videos, but I'll put that same distance away from the high value area.
Where there's a lot of people will put their stops on the high value area, but then when you're talking about some particularly brokers, when you're not trading futures, they will do what we call stop loss hunting.
And even in all the instos know that it's like having a round number. Someone puts it 34,000, for example, and people go and they, for example, they're buying at 34,000 for breakout, and then market moves up, they move the stock to break even. They know that if the market's selling off, there's going to be support there. So I would never put, for example, if I'm long on the trade, I would never put a stop loss or break even at a round number.
And of course, it's a resistance level.
It's ludicrous. And the same as if I want to take a target, for example, I will always put my target If it's just before the round number, I'd rather put my target at the round number, or maybe a couple ticks below, because generally it will get there.
Well, I mean, we'll explain this in further videos as well.
Mm.
When you go into more in-depth
Yeah.
analysis of how the market works, and particularly how brokers work as well, because they know all of the basic patterns. They know all the Fibonacci. They know all these various different patterns where people will set them smack on lines, and there will be a little bit of stop loss hunting. Now, it's not ethical, and we'll try and avoid brokers that engage in those sorts of practices as much as possible. And then you can go to our
And that's
Trusted Brokers page, and you can see the ones that we think don't engage in these practices. But depending upon who you're with, you are going to experience a little bit of that, and you might have something that, as we saw just before, is going to go up a little bit before it goes down. And if you've got your stop loss set at the wrong spot, and your broker stop loss hunts you, then you will end up in a loss in something that could be a very profitable trade. So that's another thing that we've got to go into in much more detail in some of the education videos that we'll be uploading as part of the Trading Point website.
correct. So the idea, just for you guys that are watching this, the idea is we're launching in another 8 days. We are really excited about that. We're going to do 50 memberships for free. Right.
Well, not 50 anymore. We're running out of those.
Yeah, it will be 50 for free, but there's not 50 left. You know, and unfortunately, and again, I want to thank you guys that like us on Facebook. You know, it does a great motivation after all this hard work. Now, when it comes down to the trading will be from 7 a.m. GMT to 9 a.m. GMT. So that's going to be 2 hours, because that's all you need. You only need the open, because it's a volatile session. It's going to be obviously London Open, going over from Asia. They want to look at what the US has done overnight. So you're going to get this real big boost of volume as the open comes in.
You should bring up the Trade on Point live trading room page, because that will show them all of the different time zones.
Absolutely, I'll bring that up. So if you go to the live trading room page on our website, you'll see here. So that's where you sign up. So just sign up, and I'll take you back up there. Put your name, your email, your name and your email address, your trading experience. Tell us for that.
That's going to change a little bit in the near future as we get more of the sign-ups coming along. So, that's just our way of. At this stage, it's definitely going to change, but that's our way of getting those first 50
correct
in there. But if you scroll up a little bit,
if you go up there and just let us know who you are. So there's our trading times there. So it's tap into the property European market open. So we're gonna tell you exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it. We'll obviously show you where our stops and targets are. We don't want you to just take our trades. That's not the idea behind this. We don't want, you're not going to get
learn from them. Yeah, learn from the trades,
strategies, and then take it. And if you're doing stocks or bonds or something else, then you can apply our same method.
I mean, it can be, I guess, motivating to have a bit of skin in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, you can do that with just a standard account with the brokers that we've got on our website. There, you can just sign up for a standard account with a small amount of money and trade a little bit.
Yeah.
And having some skin in the game might help you a little bit.
It's
Primarily, you want to be. You just want to be learning as much as you can. We'll be putting up educational videos. Obviously, there's not a lot to start off with.
No, that's going to be a big. But that's going to be a big thing for us.
Be guided by the members too. We want, when we get questions from the members, we want to be able to put out videos that can answer those questions.
And I think that's important. We are here to listen. I know how to trade, right? And I think that there's no better reward than showing somebody else how to trade. I'm not in competition with you. You're not in competition with me, because we might trade. There might be. We might trade different times of the day, different equities, or different derivatives or something like that. But ultimately, this is when we trade. So there you go. So it's GMT, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday to Thursday. Fridays we spend the night for the kids.
We are both family men, and we've got
we've
got our own obligations, don't we?
I think the wife would end up putting a bed in the office if I didn't give a Friday.
We might end up flatmates at the end of all this.
I reckon. Well, hopefully the amount of effort we put in rewarded, so we don't have to spend too much time building websites and programming the database and that. But so we want to be a trading room like no other. There's going to be no one out there that's going to be like us. I can guarantee that now.
Certainly not in the European market.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Certainly not about.
we're very upfront. We're very transparent. You may have even figured that out in the way that we're talking at the moment. If Trevor's going off topic, I can guarantee you I'll pull him back on, and we might have disagreements from time to time ourselves. But you will be witness to all of that yourselves, and you can take from it what you will. But there's certainly a lot to learn. And Trevor, like I said before, Trevor taught me how to trade, and his brain is a bit of a phenomenon. Whether or not it all comes out right, well, you'll all experience that for yourself as time goes by.
And the trading side is easy bit. So what else do we have? So we've got obviously trusted brokers. We're going to, if you're confused, we'll put up some trusted brokers. Well, we have a few up there at the moment to deal with both futures and forex. And these are brokers that we trust. These are brokers that don't manipulate the markets. That they're regulated, but really regulated.
And let's be transparent. We do get commissions for referring people to brokers.
Oh yeah.
But you'll experience this if you go online and have a little bit of a search yourself. It doesn't matter what brokers you choose. You will be able to sign up for a commission services. So we're using those things as commissions because we may as well, not because we've been approached by a broker and say, "Can you please put us on your website?" It doesn't matter what broker you go through; they will offer commission services, and so we do that.
Yeah.
So that's just in the interest of being as transparent as possible.
Well, exactly, and the idea for us is we don't want obviously, and the nice thing with especially with futures, spreads can't be widened because it all comes through the exchange. So yeah, and we'll explain in our videos. Clearly, we have costs. We have we have server costs. We outsource a lot of the work. We have an enormous amount of costs, and we try and offset that.
But we have brokers that we will absolutely never put up there. And in fact, brokers that offer very, very good commission services.
Yeah,
that we won't be ever putting up there. So I mean, it's not about that for us. It's about genuinely trying to get you guys connected with.
And I know the tricks and ins and outs of the brokerage game. So video library is going to be great. We're going to put up some videos, and obviously you can contact us through our team info. So guys,
and we are absolutely very happy to respond to any of the questions that you've got. We will try our best. Obviously, if this whole thing becomes big and explodes outwards, we might have to try and
we will cap it up eventually. We have to. I mean, as far as liquidity goes, we have to cap it. But one of the things over here I want to say is our portfolio. This is really exciting, and Troy and I spoke about this the other day. Is we're going to take. We want to try and get. Well, not want to try and get. We're going to put $1,000 into an account. Now
you said 800.
What's that? Yeah, but I've already said
800. Have you adjusted that now? Have you?
I think we'll go with the 800.
800. I think 800 is a good one.
Yeah.
I like 800.
When I was playing around with this, we'll throw in some numbers together.
I wanted a nice catchphrase.
Yeah, I wanted a nice catchphrase, but I threw $700 into an account. Just that's not what I normally trade because my main trading accounts obviously like with Interactive Brokers. I mean, for a start, you need $10,000 to open an account with them if you don't live in the US. But the idea was to take an account. We had $700 when we were playing around with this the other day, but that's already $1,000. So the problem is that the idea is we want to have our $800, and we're going to turn this $800 into a phenomenal amount of money.
See, 8 on the side is 50.
Well, that is true. It's only $800 thing, but that's the idea. The idea is a lot of people will say, "Oh, I want to trade. I want to learn how to trade." Somebody teach me. I don't have $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 to go and throw at a trading account. And I would think that anybody who goes and puts $50,000 into a trading account to go and learn should go and see a psychologist, like straight away, right now. If that's you, off you go.
Do not do that.
Do not do that. No,
At the most, you would stop with $1,000 in the account.
It's I wouldn't do it. So what else have we got? It's interesting to see.
You show them around the web a little bit. There's various different.
Yeah, so the little things that we'll be showing you is obviously Forex Factory. We'll take you through where to get news feeds, where to get news sites. You can see here, there's not much happening here. We've got yellow all over the chart, which is low impact.
Forex Factory obviously concentrates very much on currency trading, but each of these things have a significant impact on the indices as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Particularly if you become aware of the types of companies that these indices represent.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly, an indice, when you're dealing with indices, you're dealing with bunches of companies. I guess is probably the best way to put it.
That's
And
the
the DAX has a limited, whereas the Russell is significantly bigger.
correct.
So you get an idea of the types of indices, the types of companies that are involved in those indices and the news event. So these are all things that we can go into in a lot more depth.
It's a bit like you know, you look at the Nasdaq and for example the S&P. Now your S&P is going to be
It's 500 different companies.
as far as different companies, and your Nasdaq is going to be tech companies.
Yes.
You know, so you can almost trade the Nasdaq with the tech index as well.
The DAX is 30.
Yeah, the DAX and that's all German related. And you've got some big.
Well, I mean, there's huge companies. I mean, it's Adidas is in the DAX.
Yeah, you've got some massive companies in there. So
Yeah.
it's pretty much just a European index, like for example the Dow Jones. You know,
Of course, the indices take the top companies, so you can have companies moving in and out of these indices.
oh, absolutely.
So if you know the 30th company,
The idea is to obviously represent the whole. Like for example, especially when it comes to down to things like your Dow Jones, your S&P, they want to have a basket. They want to have utilities in there, transport in there, insurance in there.
exactly right. But something like the S&P is going to be far less volatile than the Dow.
Yes.
Because the S&P's got 500 companies that are all balancing each other out. They're far less likely to move based upon information, whereas the Dow.
Well, exactly, because the Dow is always going to move. If you look at the Dow, while they are very closely correlated, if the Dow goes and drops 100 points, you normally expect the S&P to drop 10 points. So it's 10 to 1.
Exactly right. Well, because one company can move the Dow.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas one company is less likely to move the S&P by
Correct.
near as much.
And that's why sometimes you'll see the S&P might be positive, the Dow might be negative, or vice versa. Because you've got one company, especially like when all that news was coming out recently about Tesla, you know, Tesla would obviously have an effect on the market, or Apple, or one of the other.
Tesla's in NASDAQ.
One of the big players would then move that specific index, and some companies will be in the Nasdaq and in the S&P, and vice versa. So there'll be one or more indexes. What else have we got?
Google's in almost all of them.
Google, yeah, that is like an absolute whale, and that's a hell of a business model. What else have we got? So we've got that.
The trading hours.
Oh, trading hours.
It's really handy.
Awesome. Again, it's mostly currencies, although you've got some equities and commodities over here. This is awesome because it tells you when London opens, when Zurich, Frankfurt, Moscow, Johannesburg, obviously South Africa.
So you're looking at the start of those is when you're going to get the most volume and most volatility in the market.
And then as you go into the end, for example, like now London's opened, and what you'll find is as London closes, you've got Zurich closing, Frankfurt a little bit later. You know, you get all this volume going into the close because some people don't want to hold positions overnight.
Right now,
it's like us.
Right now, with an hour before the most recent, the soonest close, and somewhat 2 hours or so before pre-open for any of the US markets, there's going to be very little volume. There's not going to be a lot of movement happening at this, like right now.
No, you get that initial boost in volume, and then it kind of tapers off. Unless there's a significant news event, and
that can impact it. Yes,
and that'll impact it. But if you haven't got that to trigger the market, and you don't have you know, a terrorist attack or like we had the other day with the cyber attack on the oil
Oh,
pipeline.
the pipeline, yeah, of course, yeah.
It's-
And we'll talk about things like that as well, and GameStop and whatever's happening in crypto, because there's always something happening
Yeah,
in crypto. What are they at 10,000 different currencies that have launched now?
Oh yeah, it's tokens. You can almost double that. Yeah, yeah. So the idea is we're going to show you the charts. Talk to you about news events. We'll teach you a little bit about fundamentals. We'll mostly focus on technicals. We'll focus on the indicators that we use, why we use them, combinations of indicators, and so on and so on. And I think, and you can actually, in fact, talk about that now, although we're about to end this webinar. You can see.
No, this is not a webinar. We're already in webinar mode.
I know.
This is just a little bit of an introductory live thing.
So excited. But you can see here, look at it. I really
Head and
think,
shoulders, Trevor. Head and shoulders.
I really think this is going to sell tonight. So because you've got this head and shoulders sitting up right here, and if it does, you just
Explain the head and shoulders.
okay.
You may as well give it a quick explanation of head and shoulders.
So the head and shoulders, my take is, and my take the only take, it's basically you have this nice rally that you've got going on here on the 1 minute chart. So obviously at some point it's got to find resistance. So it finds resistance over here. It actually tests the market. You can see there you've got 1, 2, 3 at the exact same price level. So then what happens is it needs to take a breather. So you're going to get covering of your long positions. You'll get short sellers coming in here. So you'll pull back. Right now, whether you pull back on a Fibonacci retracement or not, you can go and put that in there, and you can see, okay, we pull back. So we pull back to almost the 30.
Pull back to that one. They pull back to the first one. You can't put the Fibonacci retracement or something that hasn't happened.
No. Yeah, no. This one here. So you got the high, but I'm just extending it over here. So it's
We'll come back to the 30.
come back to the 38 over here. Then what's happened is market just consolidated, and you've got a little triangle over here. If you actually have a look at this, and you'll see there's all these little I love technical analysis. You can see that and it's just winding in. So it breaks that trend line, but we'll get rid of that off the chart. And what happens is it rallies again. So then it forms this head up here. So this is your head. Now the reason that's important is because you've broken this high and you've made a new high. So now when price has to, it can't just keep going up. It has to try and take a breather. Again, your proper taken up here. Again, you're going to have short sellers come in. And that's exactly what happens. So then it's got to go down, it's got to find some support. And it actually finds support. And this is, you don't often get this, where you find support where it's actually on the, there you go, at previous lows. Normally you have a bit of a slope.
That one's a pretty clear.
Yeah. So that's really indecisive because normally you want the higher high and then a higher low for a trending market. So then what happens is now it's very important as to whether the price will A, which it has, break this shoulder over here, and then B, it's got to have enough legs to try and get up to this high over here to continue in the bullish market.
It's a wait and see situation. It could be a head and shoulders if it starts on its downward motion, and if it is, it's going to go a long way down.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's also going to break that clay.
And I think this will come down. I still think
It looks like it wants to. Oh, look at that.
I mean, and now what you would do is you would take a line from the neckline, we call this the neckline, to the top of the head. You take that line, and then what you do is you duplicate it. Now I'm going to think, oh, there we go. I still remember. So then you put that line at the break of the neckline. So you just leave it there, right? And ideally, what that line will be is where in a perfect head and shoulders cloud, that is where your target is going to be. So 34,738. That's futures, June contract, 2021. So in fact, if I can actually go and show you this. So if you look, and I hate going back in time because you obviously
It becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're looking for what you want to find.
it is, and you'll see little things like and the same works with your double top.
Double top,
So you've got your trend line there. There's your low. you get your double top, there's your next low, you draw a trend line. What you do is you take the trend line up to the tops. My apologies. You take the trend line up to your second top there, and you then take that extra break your neckline, which is over there, and then you put your target down there. So it works time and time and time again. You know, the same thing. That's not really a double top. Same thing there. You know, neckline. That's the same distance there to there. But we'll teach you this as we go along.
Been a while since there's been a head and shoulders one.
I know. I was trying to find.
There you go.
Oh, here we go.
It's a messy one. That's there.
It is there, and it's good that you see it. There you go. And you've got another one, in fact, within this. You got one there, and you got one there. I don't know if hopefully, yeah, you see. So you got this as your main, as your head. We'll just put this one. So you've got this. So there's your head and shoulders there, and then you've got here again. You've got a head and shoulders. So let's have a look to see if this works out. Okay, so there's your neckline between the lows. So now what you've got to do is you've got to take from the neckline to the head. Okay. Then what you do is you move that to the break of the neckline, right? And there's your target. Now, obviously,
Which is at the other shoulder.
Yeah.
The larger shoulder.
Correct. And that one you can see once it hit that. Right, that's not. I don't want to delete that, but we'll might smooth that out the way. But you'll see here, if I put a horizontal line, you can see there that actually became resistance over here. Now, I'll just move that down to get off the chart. Now, let's look at the next one. So you've got this head and shoulders over here. Now, smooth that out the way. A few lines going on here. So now what we want to do is we want to take this neckline, and there's your break of your neckline. So there you go. There's your thing, shoulders. It'll be there. You can't cheat.
It's not going to come out perfect, is it?
No.
It's not going to be quite as tight as you want.
There we go. And there's your break of the neckline.
Oh, it almost got there.
And there's your target there.
It almost got there.
It almost got there.
But you're going to be setting yourself. I mean, when you talk about risk management, you're going to be setting yourself stop losses at higher points than that. So that trade is still going to come out as a profit, but it's just not going to come out as quite as big a profit as you would hopefully expect.
And that's the thing. It's so whether this plays out or not, it's matter for the markets. But I think that's it, Troy.
We just remind them to jump on tradeonpoint.com. The links are obviously on Facebook anyway.
Yeah.
And sign up to take advantage of the first 50. Once you see that sign up change, there'll be some cost involved, but we will still have introductory fees, no obligation introductory fees once we do start with fees for the site, because we are putting a huge amount of time into this, and we'll be divorced if we don't get something out of it. But
it's not even the money. It's always
about
time away from the kids, time away from wife, and
being able to do this but be able to devote a lot of time to it, and because we both have other jobs we have to do as well, and exactly. So we'd like to be able to do this full time for both our benefit and for the members.
That's exactly it. But for now, it's kind of like a hobby that we just really fell in love with, and me some 20 years ago, and it's time to show other people what to do.
But jump on board, sign up, obligation free, obviously. We don't even ask for any credit card details for the first 50. And then after that, obviously, if you don't even get in the first 50, there'll be trial amounts that you can jump on board.
Yeah, we'll have this down.
We're certainly not going to be looking to make millions out of this. We're generally just want to be able to live and enjoy being able to pass on a bit of knowledge.
And that's what it is. It's always been about that. It's about showing other people how to trade and without obviously making mistakes. But guys, if you joined us now, thank you very much. If you're watching this later, if you have any questions, you can email us, which is tradedesk@tradeonpoint.
Facebook
or Facebook message.
we've got the Twitter, I think, is linked to our Facebook as well, so you can DM us there. And yeah, there's lots of ways you can get in contact with us. We do monitor our socials and we monitor our emails all the time. So yeah, we'll get back to you hopefully as quick as we can.
Perfect. And just as a bit of a bonus, so we are trading. We've only got a week to go, but if you get hold of us now, you sign up now. We are trading every night. I forgot to say that the idea with us is we got to make 1% today.
Yes,
That's actually your rule.
it was. Yes, it was something I came up with once we
It was your
once we
idea
figured out the concept of compound interest.
because everybody says you can't do it. So being me, everybody's wrong. So what have we've been trading for? Well, for the Trade on Point account, we've been trading for what, 6 weeks, 7 weeks?
Yeah, but I mean, you've been working on the website at the same time, so you haven't been throwing yourself completely into it, but you're averaging 1.5 to 2% a night.
And that's it. And every day that we have traded, every day, right? There have been days that we didn't trade because we focused our attention on other stuff, but we traded 90% of the days in the last 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks. Every single trading day, we have made more than 1%. So yeah, I think most days it's 1.5. It goes up to 2%. We've got a couple
Because we've got
of percenters.
We generally stop at 1.
Yeah.
Unless you see
Yeah,
low hanging
yeah,
fruit and you
yeah.
just can't help yourself.
Exactly. But I mean, even today, you know, we've done 2%, 2.5%. So it's been a good trading day. All right, guys. We'll until we see you next time. I wish you all the best. Trade well, and I hope to see you in the room.
Cheers.
There you go. You know, I do not. We did. What we should have done.
Did it.
Did it? But do you know what we should have done?
What?
Is we should have shared it with.
You can. You can go on.
Oh,
share the
yeah, we
link.
can. But when you start your live stream,
You can
you
share.
can actually go share, and there's like 2,500 traders. Most of them are from Africa, in South Africa, because a lot of traders are South Africa.
They'd be awake at the moment.
Yeah,
I have to go because I've got to ride my bike to work tomorrow morning. And if I don't, am I coming in here tomorrow? I am coming in tomorrow, aren't I?
Yeah.
Oh, I may as well just leave my computer here. That